Liam Daniel. Focus Features. Last year was a good one for movies about the royal family. Olivia Coleman just earned a Best Actress Oscar nomination for her performance as Queen Anne in The Favourite, and Margot Robbie earned acclaim for becoming Elizabeth I in Mary Queen of Scots. But do you ever wonder how those on-screen monarchs are related to the current reigning queen? You can trace the royal succession though these movies, which feature every king and queen from the present back to the year 1558. 1 of 17 Queen Elizabeth II, the Queen. 2 of 17 King George VI, The King's Speech, Amazon iTunes. But who is the current Queen's father? If you remember The King's Speech, he's the one, played by Colin Firth, who had to overcome a stammer when he unexpectedly became king following his brother's abdication from the throne. Making movies about the House of Windsor must be lucky, because The King's Speech won the Academy Award for Best Picture, Best Original Screenplay, Best Director, and Best Actor. Related, 30 times Queen Elizabeth II was the ultimate grandma. 3 of 17 King Edward VIII, W.E. Amazon iTunes. If you're more interested in the reasoning behind Edward VIII's surprise abdication, Madonna's got you covered. Guess that Madonna, she directed a movie about the romance between Edward VIII and American divorcee Wallis Simpson that led the king to give up the crown. Related, 11 other American women who married into royalty. 4 of 17 King George V, A King's Story, Amazon. As it turns out, there aren't that many cultural depictions of George V, the father of George VI and Edward VIII. His life just wasn't as juicy as his son's. Instead, see him pop up in this Oscar-nominated documentary, which, fine, is also about Edward VIII's abdication, but is narrated by Orson Welles. 5 of 17 King Edward VII. Queen Victoria, Judi Dench, develops a deep friendship with him, much to the chagrin of Edward VII, Eddie Izzard. This is a first of many films on this list that show how cutthroat behind-the-scenes maneuvering can be when the royal court gets jealous of those who earn a monarch's favor. 6 of 17 Queen Victoria. Like Victoria and Abdul, this also shows the pressures a monarch feels as different parties try to earn her loyalty, though this time, instead of a servant's friendship, it affects her budding possible romance with Prince Albert, Rupert Friend. 7 of 17 King George IV. In it, the younger monarch questions the sanity of his father in the hopes of seizing power. One of the issues riling up the elder king is his loss of America, in case you're wondering which king was featured in Hamilton. 9 of 17 King George I, Rob Roy, The Highland Rogue, Amazon iTunes. The Rob Roy starring Liam Neeson may be better known, but it doesn't have any royals in it. Instead, check out this 1953 Disney feature, where the hero leads his men against King George I's forces. Eric Pullman, who plays the king, has also played George III in 2 other hard-to-find movies, Dr. Sin, alias The Scarecrow, and John Paul Jones. 10 of 17 Queen Anne, The Favourite, Amazon iTunes. This year's big royal Oscar contender paints a picture of Queen Anne so off the wall, you might not believe it could be possible. But however exaggerated it may be, it is based in fact. Queen Anne, Olivia Coleman, really did have a, well, close relationship with the Duchess of Marlborough, Rachel Weisz, and it really was upended with the arrival of the Duchess's cousin, Abigail, Emma Stone. But whether it's accurate or not, it's a juicy tale about the ways the 3 women try to manipulate each other. 11 of 17 King William III. But what it lacks in queens it makes up for in adventure. In this movie, Captain Kidd is a pirate who swindles the crown, and also convinces King William he's an honest sailor and gets a commission to become a sanctioned privateer. Adventure and romance on the high seas ensue. 12 of 17 King James II and 7, Captain Blood, iTunes. YouTube. In another swashbuckling adventure, Errol Flynn's Peter Blood is sold into slavery by King James II, played by Vernon Steele, known for his silent films. But don't worry, Blood gets the upper hand again when James II gets deposed in the Glorious Revolution. 13 of 17 King Charles II, Stage Beauty, Amazon iTunes. Many of these movies have had fantastic female performances, but Stage Beauty reminds of a time when women were forbidden from acting. In film, Charles II, Rupert Everett again, is the ruler who finally entertains the notion of seeing a female actress, played by Claire Danes, on stage. If that sounds too stuffy, John Malkovich plays Charles II in the much raunchier Johnny Depp movie The Libertine. 14 of 17 King Charles I, Cromwell, Amazon iTunes. Two acting heavyweights square off in this one. Sir Alec Guinness takes on the role of King Charles I as his throne is threatened by Oliver Cromwell, played by Richard Harris. Although, if you simply must see Rupert Everett play a king for the third time, he plays Charles I in a hard-to-find movie called To Kill a King. 15 of 17 King James I. But on-screen versions of Elizabeth I aren't entirely without romance. In Shakespeare in Love, the Queen shows up to offer some aid to the central couple in a Best Supporting Actress winning cameo by Judi Dench. So, the final royal count is 2 Denches, 2 Mirrans, and 3 Everetts. 17 of 17 Watch. These are the royal titles Camilla and Kate Middleton will take when their spouses become king. There's sure to be more royal movies as Prince Charles and Prince William become king.